I'll call the June meeting of the Huntington Township Planning Commission to order. It's time for public comment on agenda items. If anybody has any items that are listed on the agenda. Not hearing any, I'll move on. Everybody have a chance to review the May 18th meeting minutes?
Yep.
Yes. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
No, with the second set, it was saying. Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes for record.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Jeff, second by Tom. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay. We have, look for Scott, he's down in the end. Scott is zoning officer and engineers report.
4 building permits were issued in May, 2 single-family homes, a pole barn, and a deck. I received a noise complaint for the York Springs Social Hall at 6910 Old Harrisburg Road. I stopped by Friday and was hoping to talk to someone there, but no one was there, so I just left a letter. And I also received a complaint from 8164 Carlisle Pike. There's an issue across the street in Lattimore Township that's affecting his property and his driveway. I have a meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. to take a look at that. The street and sidewalk ordinance, the supervisor asked the planning commission to take a look at it again. I can talk about that more under old business. Zoning ordinance update is ongoing and there are currently no plans under review.
Okay. Alright.
Questions or comments?
Thanks, Scott.
Oh, there's the zoning permits. Yes.
Okay. All right. Moving on to new businesses. Under the new business, we have nuisance ordinance, all glass discussion.
Supervisors asked the planning commission to take a look at this. We received a complaint about tall grass.
Where was that complaint at? Do we have an address?
No, I don't have an address. The person that made the complaint did not want to file a paper report because they didn't want the neighbors to find out about it.
Can you speak up, please? I can't hear you. And I put an ADA recommendation, but accommodation.
I moved. I'm talking right at you. I'm talking right to you.
Well, let me be clear though. Were you asking about what the address of the complaint?
No, the property that people don't like the high grass.
That's
Where's
what
that
I mean.
at?
Yeah, okay. What's the address of that, Scott?
Do we know where that's at? We don't know.
Like I said,
Just somebody
she did
called
not-
in and
she did
said-
not want to leave.
No, but that's the complainant. Where's the property that they're complaining about? We understand the
I don't-
anonymity of the complainant.
Yeah.
We're asking about the property that that's being complained about.
Yeah, Julie talked to them. I did not. I don't have an address.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's right on Cardell. Pike.
Yeah.
They're right outside of York Springs on the
I
right.
think I used, you know, hire
Yeah.
Well,
plant.
I assume, I mean,
I assume
I
so
didn't
too,
know.
it's the one with tall grass.
Well, without someone signing a complaint, I mean, what good is it?
Right, that's what I conveyed to the person who filed it through Julie.
Yeah.
Julie took a look at some neighboring municipalities. Something like this, it would be in a nuisance ordinance. Typically, you find it in a more urban area, like in a borough. Cumberland Township and Strabane Township have it for certain zones, like high-density residential subdivision developments, something like that. If the township wanted to consider this, you know, it might make sense in residential suburban districts, but I don't think it makes sense in any other district in the township.
No.
I disagree. If we're up against agricultural land,
The only place that would make sense would be Flowing Springs.
and that's
Right
their
there.
problem.
and Otterville, you're,
Correct.
That's what I said, residential.
no, you said
suburban.
residential, and
Residential
No,
suburban.
suburban.
He said residential
Yeah.
suburban.
Which would be
And
that.
he also said might. He didn't say would, he
Okay, but
said
also
might.
you're getting ready to change and expand that area, right?
Well,
It's under discussion. That's why there's a lot of mights here, just to be
Yeah.
clear.
But it'd be probably easier, and maybe more proper, to have it addressed through some type of the township code as far as, I mean, who's gonna enforce it? You gotta go out and.
Well, it would be, if the township decided to pass something like this, it would be in the nuisance ordinance.
Mhm.
We have a nuisance ordinance.
Okay.
It's very short.
Yeah, but that was the problem. This come on the board before, when I was sitting on the board. You've gotta define all that, then you've gotta enforce all that.
Understood.
And I was the roadmaster at that time, and I made it plain and clear to the board that you're not sending me on somebody's property to mow grass. And I would let that known on this board that someone better be careful coming on my property to mow grass.
Yeah, it's not the
You're gonna
proper,
open a can of worms you don't want to open.
yeah, it's not the proper way to handle
Well,
it.
that's not how.
That's not what we were
There's no
discussing.
need for it.
Okay, thanks. Good input. Go ahead.
But as far as discussion on that, have you found anything in ordinance, in code ordinances to address that?
Existing in Huntington's code?
Yeah.
No, there's nothing to address that.
Maybe y'all don't remember, quite a few years ago, shortly after Flowing Springs went in, there was a house that was foreclosed, and there was a person made a complaint, and Gus was hell-bent on writing up an ordinance. And that was the wrong thing to say, because nobody was in favor of it then. Sooner or later, somebody will buy the property and then mow the grass, and it's over. I mean, I think it's kind of senseless, really.
And also, we discovered, as far as we know, there's already rules and regulations in Flowing Springs through the HOA.
That is
You're not
actually,
allowed to have chickens, you're not allowed to, right, am I right?
no, that's incorrect. There is no HOA in Flowing Springs.
Nothing.
No.
Okay.
The only thing that I'm aware of was a covenant that was dated back in
On the
1998. Correct, but only
Okay.
for phase 1. I have not found anything for phase 2 or 3, which would be Tracy and Tammy. Phase
Okay.
1 was Wendy. So I am looking into that, but as of now, I do not know. There is no HOA in there.
Okay.
I'm certain of that.
And even if there was or wasn't,
It would be separate
township
from
doesn't
this.
have the power to enforce it.
It would be separate from this, correct?
So the neighbors would have to enforce that.
Or the H, yeah. or
The HOA
whatever,
board, the HOA board would.
Correct.
To be clear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe the township could put an ordinance in requiring HOAs if you're gonna have developments. I mean, that's an option. Or make it for developments, but strictly for development, not the rest of the community.
And
Bigger things for us to be handling now than this on a complaint that we weren't even given a name or where it's at,
Exactly.
even though we all know where it is. I don't know why we should waste any more time on it.
I agree. I mean, it's not, unless somebody steps forward and you know, writes up a complaint and or attach their name to it.
Well, can I make a point on that? Complaints by law can be anonymous. Even police complaints can be anonymous. But there should be a write-up. I agree with that point. But there is retribution at times in very ugly situations when people are forced, and I don't think we can do that in the law. But I would make a couple points. Number one is, if a complaint comes before us or before the supervisors, we should know the address
Exactly.
that is targeted in the complaint.
Right.
We don't need to know the address of the complainant if they choose to remain anonymous. We can deal with that separately if the temperature goes up. Secondly, I came from many townships and towns before this that weren't rural. I'll just add one, if I may, one
go
bit
ahead.
of perspective here. This is one of the hardest elements of nuisance regulation to A, deal with, B, enforce. You're dealing with how high's the grass, is it causing other problems, all those, and I'm talking about in dense areas. I'm talking about an area like Huntington Township. It's also very difficult when you have rural areas next to suburban areas and yards bordering each other. And the other element I'll throw in, we have one. This isn't in some sort of endemic problem that we're facing right now, and you made that point, Kurt.
Yeah.
So I would say that these are good things, and there's nothing wrong with neighbors talking to each other about this. They can get ugly. I had a neighbor where I am, although my neighbor was in Huntington Township. The lawn was out of control. I went and talked to them. They cut the lawn the next day. I didn't have to threaten anybody. I didn't get threatened. That was good news. But it was. We talked to each other. They cut the lawn the next day, and they didn't even realize. Oh, geez, I didn't realize how bad it looked. So it's an element of communication, and I would love to see a rural township like ours deal with this through communication instead of a law.
Yep.
And if I were to ever get into a situation where we're writing laws for one complaint,
No.
that's a real bad outcome. So I'm done.
Well,
Yeah, I think in the past, if there was a complaint like that, they just wrote a letter to them and
Just ask them.
You can
and
do that
you
too.
took care of the problem. You know, if the neighbors can't agree, a township letter came, and there's not that many, and like you said, who's going to enforce this? And we're not talking about going on and mowing their property, but we don't have any. I don't think it's something we need.
Well, now they're advocating going all natural with your lawn, letting it all grow,
Yeah.
far west,
Yeah.
Seattle and stuff. It's horrible looking. I mean, to the eye it is, but it's the tree huggers are, let everything grow.
Maria, you had a...
Yes. At the supervisors meeting, I had asked the question you did, property, how many complaints we got, because we weren't told it was just one. It was high grass. And Mr. Resch from the board table indicated no one even lives there. It's on the recording. So no one lives there. And now, and I even asked, is this a clique member's problem that now has to come before the board? And micromanaging this kind of problem in a rural area is just ludicrous.
Yeah.
It's one more thing where the farmers won't have to do it, but the residents. So I live across the street from Dan Klein. There's a 5-foot patch with the farm, but that's all overgrown, and yet his is always kept very low. So I call it the great divide between what farmers have to do and what the residents are expected to do.
Yeah, it's not.
And it's not that that strip is farmed, it's just left to go wild.
Well, your noise thing is another example of that. I'll give you an example that's pretty neat. When I was a young kid, I was riding through York Springs with my loud pipes in my car, and policeman Stiles pulls me over and comes up to me and says, "Son, your car is too loud." I was just a 16-year-old kid. So I asked him, I said, "Okay, well, how loud is my car allowed to be?" He had no answer.
Yeah.
So he just said, "Look, just keep it down in town."
Yeah.
So I kept it down in town. But the fact of it was how are you going to measure, you get a complaint about noise. Well, I can hear those people over there in South Ridge Road from my house.
Yeah.
And I can hear every Harley that goes up and down the road on the back end of it.
Way louder.
Not sitting on the damn seat,
Not on
Yeah.
topic.
you know?
Let's move on. Let's move on.
get back
We're not
to
on a
that.
noise complaint issue.
Exactly right.
So,
Here we go.
but that's just a good point of
Yeah.
exactly what you're
It's
talking
it's
about.
hard to enforce.
Now, if it's constant every day, it's constant, maybe that's different.
Can I clarify the noise complaint? The individual lives right next to the business, and the noise at 10 and 11 PM, we're keeping them up.
That's fine.
That's
We're not
why-
on the noise complaint, Scott.
Okay.
We moved on to the grass complaint, and now we're moving on to the next item
Well,
on
there
the
was
agenda.
some
Yeah,
discussion
there was
about
that.
noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as, we've had a discussion on that grass issue, and generally, it's this board, I can hear on it, and I'm speaking for myself, I guess, but we're not in favor of an ordinance.
No.
So,
Can I make that motion so we can move on?
you can make
There's
that
no
motion.
reason for a motion on that.
It's just discussion. We can.
Okay.
We had a discussion, the
Just a
discussion is
discussion,
over.
and we pass that back to that we don't think one is needed.
There's no
Right.
passing back. Yeah, we can.
Well, we have to let the supervisors know. That's what we talked about.
Yeah, because they sent it to the.
That's in the,
Yeah.
that's in the meeting minutes.
Yeah.
We don't need a motion for that. If it's in the meeting minutes, we talked about it, reached a conclusion.
Okay.
All right. That's all for new business. Old business is streets and sidewalk ordinance update.
Ron Resch wanted it sent back to the planning commission to consider banning parking on sidewalks, which would mostly be specific to Flowing Springs subdivision. There was a couple cars parked on the sidewalks, and the sidewalks aren't designed to hold traffic weight.
I didn't see that.
I was going to ask you if you saw cars.
No, we usually, down my Tammy Drive, we don't have anyone parking on the sidewalks. You have plenty of off-street parking.
The roads are
I don't know
wide.
why you would,
Yeah.
the roads are,
Wide.
the roads are, yeah,
And
there's ample parking.
And another thing, it could go here in the street and sidewalk ordinance, or it can also go in the motor vehicle ordinance. Because parking is prohibited in one spot in the township on the road.
So to be clear, to talk about it, not allowing parking on the sidewalk.
Correct.
Who owns the sidewalk? The
It's in
township?
the street right away.
It's within the street right of way, so it's owned by the
Township.
township, but it's maintained and cleared by the property owner.
Right.
Yes.
So if they destroy their sidewalk, they have to fix it.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
better for them not to destroy it.
Well, I get it.
Is the only complaint coming from Flowing Springs?
Yes.
Okay, and here's, just throwing the discussion, if that's okay. Suppose someone parks on the sidewalk and the neighbor has a wheelchair.
Yeah, it blocks access.
Okay, should be no parking on the sidewalk. Should not be a no-brainer.
Yeah,
Like you said,
sidewalks,
there's plenty of parking there. There should be no reason why someone.
There, yeah, you can almost get 4 cars sitting there,
Yeah.
2 in the middle and 2 on both sides.
Well, the
There's
street's
plenty
way
of room.
there.
So I don't know why you'd ever need to park on the sidewalk itself.
So, but they're saying someone has done that, or?
I'm assuming I haven't seen it in the
Oh,
back
yes,
part,
someone-
but yes.
Someone was parked on the side.
are they parking in the where the driveway intersects crosses the sidewalk?
No. They drove through the yard and parked on the
Parked
sidewalk.
parallel on the,
Yeah, it's not good. And how you enforce that.
Again, this is one complaint,
Yeah.
and I mean, I don't know, could it be that they were unloading something and wanted closer to the house?
Let the neighbors poke it out.
They weren't,
Yeah.
they
Well,
weren't close to the house.
Okay,
this is easy to handle though. This is easy to handle though. There shouldn't be any parking allowed on a sidewalk, period.
No.
Because it's a public access for pedestrians. And if you, like Mark said, if you have a wheelchair and you can't get through, then you got ADA problems with it. Because you have to have clear paths of access. So, I don't,
And we're updating this ordinance now.
yeah, so just add that
This
in.
isn't out of the blue, and I don't even think there was a complaint, doesn't matter.
No,
We're updating this ordinance now, and to add this,
just add that
Makes
in.
sense.
And
I don't really see a problem.
does anybody have any problem with adding that no parking on sidewalks into the ordinance? It's being
I'm
updated.
honestly surprised that wasn't in there
Oh,
to
yeah.
start with.
Right.
So, I'm fine with that.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to add no parking on sidewalks.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I can go ahead and write something up, and then you can make a recommendation on
Okay.
it next month.
all right, that's
okay,
fine.
this isn't, that's not what you wanted added?
Yeah, we can add it. We can add it to the.
add it to the ordinance that we're working on.
The one that's not adopted yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, we got a copy of what he suggested, correct?
Yeah, but it doesn't say anything about parking on the sidewalk.
Oh, it doesn't, okay,
No.
okay.
That was the one
to
that,
add it.
I
that was
got
just
you,
said.
I mean, I can go ahead and add that, and then
okay.
if you want to write your
Yeah.
recommendation to add that and then send it to the supervisors, I can do that.
Yeah,
Right. Somebody want to make that recommendation?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Cody made the motion, Tom second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. All right.
So we're recommending that Scott adds no parking on sidewalks, and then we'll look at it next month and approve it to go to the board for approval.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Next old business item is a zoning ordinance discussion. Andy, you have,
Yeah,
you're up.
making notes to myself, that's all.
Yeah, that's all right.
Did everybody up here get?
I guess, yes.
Yes.
There's extra copies there, if anybody wants some, come
Yeah,
get it.
copies of this. This is pertaining to the data center overlay. If you want a copy of it.
Yeah, you're on, you just want to take them.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Here, I'll take those.